Yo guys, what is up? Max in our first Descendant video, and today we've got a little update to the Ultimate Freyna guide, as well as kind of like a demonstration slash test. So I put out Ultimate Freyna build video a few days ago, where I recommended using Venom Synthesis for 400% dungeons, and I recommended using Contagion for normal mobbing. Now, I've gotten a lot of feedback on that decision, people talking about Contagion being better for 400% dungeons and vice versa, and so I kind of just wanted to do an extended discussion, and mainly a demonstration where we run one dungeon with Venom Synthesis and one dungeon with Contagion. We're just going to do it live. Whichever one is faster and clears the dungeon better is the one that we are going to be using, or the one that I personally will be recommending for 400% dungeons. I'm happy to be wrong, but I just thought it'd be fun to do both live. And then after we do that, we've got a little bit of an update to one of the mods in the build that's going to allow us to actually get even more damage on Freyna. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get right into it. So we're just going to run the same 400% dungeon. We're going to do one on non-Contagion, and then we'll do one on Contagion and just time them. Right now, it's either Magisters or Seed Vault. Magisters is pretty short, so I don't think we do this one, just because, like, you know, the shorter the time, the less variation, the bigger, like, the build difference will make. So we've got no beneficial things here. Like, obviously, I'm not benefiting from Fire Skill Power. But let's run Seed Vault. I'm going to be on non-Contagion first. And, you know, a big thing with non-Contagion or not running Contagion, and people were, like, sending me clips of them, like, clearing rooms faster with Contagion. So I'm very aware that Contagion clears rooms faster. The thing is, with Freyna, is she clears very fast regardless, with and without Contagion. The thing that she can be slower on is the boss room, and that's where non-Contagion is going to make a difference. Also, by the way, if you're not going to be playing Contagion, you want to make sure that you are using your other abilities. It is going to be very impactful for you to click your, like, second ability. You know what I mean? With Contagion, you can kind of just click one ability and the whole dungeon is dead. With not Contagion, you want to make sure that, you know, you've got your, like, armor proc so that the enemies are hitting you. Let's grab that mana. But, like, as you can see, the poison, when they're spread out, is not proliferating as much. Sorry that my audio is so, like, effed. But, you know, these kind of rooms, like, the poison is spreading to all of these guys. I haven't recast my ability. It just takes a little bit longer. As you can see, this is no Contagion. Like, you know, still spreading. We're just going to want to make sure that we're using our other abilities. You know, at the end of the day, like, regardless of which one is faster, it's just going to come down to personal preference. You know, it's a video game. You could use whichever one you like. Let's make sure that guy is dead. Make sure our 3 and our 2 is up so that if enemies are hitting me, they are going to be dying. Grab that. Very good. You can just kind of just sprint through here. And, like, I know that my toxic footprints are enough damage to, like, kill those guys behind me. You know what I mean? So now we've got a big open room here. So this is where you would think that kind of Contagion would take the lead. As you can see, like, this guy over here is already poisoned. That guy in the back is getting poisoned. Let's bring our footsteps up and around here so we can make sure that everything is getting dotted. We got some elites showing up so we can pull out our AR. Sorry that my audio is so buggy. It's, like, actually really bad right now. We got some ads up there that need to die. Cool, cool, cool. That room is clear. Go sprint this way. Make sure our 2 is bombed for some extra poison. 2 is just extra poison proliferation. You know what I mean? It allows us to proliferate poison even if our abilities are not hitting those enemies. And, like, it might, like, look like, you know, I'm kind of just running by things, but, you know, our poison is gonna, besides, like, the elites, most of the time, just kill them off. We'll make sure that the poison spreads there to all of those guys. Cool, cool, cool. More poison footsteps. But yeah, I mean, this isn't like a normal video that I would make, but, you know, there's a big debate about it. And, you know, once again, at the end of the day, whatever you feel like you enjoy more or feels better to you at the end of the day is going to be the one to use. Just wanted to, like, test this, and, you know, I haven't done the timing yet, so, like, I could be totally wrong, and we could clear this 5 times faster without Contagion. But with Contagion, I would be a little surprised. Where's this other guy? Bum, 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 bum. We build lots of HP for these so that we can, you know, not worry too much about the bosses. Break that. Make sure poison is on these guys. Nice. We do have to shoot this guy in the face. Cool. Nice, nice. Everything is dying. We gotta proc this. Up our 2. Stack those dots. Walk on him. Stack those dots. And, like, this isn't the greatest boss, because obviously that boss is immune, or not immune, but resistant to toxic. But there is our run. That was with non-contagion, or no contagion. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Now let's just do it again, but with Contagion. Okay, so we're taking off Venom Synthesis. The build is not changing at all. I wouldn't change the build. Just slap Contagion on there. And what I'm expecting, by the way, before we run into this, is I'm expecting Contagion to clear the AoE rooms faster, but be slower on the bosses. And, you know, what that time adds up, we will see. But that's kind of what I was finding in my original testing before we did the video, was that we were pretty similar on the, like, room clear. Contagion was a little bit faster, but we were slower on the bosses, and the boss fights were taking longer. And, you know, realistically, if you're going to die in these dungeons, you're not going to die in the mobbing portions. Mobbing portions are, all things considered, pretty easy. The thing that's slow is the, you know, is the bosses, typically. So now that we're on Contagion, we can cast our 3 a bit more. Should have a little bit more poison proliferation with the spreading. I shouldn't really need to cast my ability again here. These guys got ticked a little bit. Cast our 2 on them, our 3. Yeah, they're dying back there. All right, first big room. Let's cast the 1 and the 3 out. Should proliferate to basically the whole room. Make sure we grab this mana. Probably shouldn't have casted that, but let's cancel it. Make sure that we get that kill quickly. Pardon me, gamers. We still have to cast on each one of these groups just because they're a little bit too spaced out. Nice. Now this room should be where Contagion really shines. Because that might be all I need to cast, let's say. Throw in some extra dots just in case. Throw in a 3 over there. Pop our 2 for some extra poison. Another 3, another 1. Now our dot damage is dealing less here, but you know, I'm getting more skills out. Or I'm like, you know, I'm using my 3, so we're adding our 3 kind of to the damage. Which, you know, all things considered, adding the 3 as a consistent dot source would kind of make up for the damage that we're losing on Contagion. But as you can see, these elites are pretty healthy. So yeah, the like one thing that you notice there is like even with my 4th ability, the elites didn't kind of like die quite as quickly. Let's go get these guys up here. Nice, and they dropped us a bunch of mana. Very good. Running. That's the other thing that's nice about the Venom Synth is that, you know, we're just so much faster for those sections. Pop our 2 for some extra poison. Should proliferate there, and then probably around the corner. Not quite. Get our 1 and our 3 over there. The interesting thing about like Contagion versus not Contagion is your like 1 is doing about the damage of your 1 and your 2, or your 1 and your 3 with the non-Contagion build. Cool, cool. Vamos. All right, boss room. Let's kill some of the trash mobs. Pop procker 4. Hello, sir. That guy went immune. That's very good. What the? Try to get him down at the same time as that one. Oh, jeez. My 4th is back up. Very good. Those guys being close together helps out a ton, because then we can spread extra damage to them. I might need to go grab some HP. We need some HP. As you can see, like, the thing with Contagion is our single target is just not as good. Hallelujah. We got some health. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So, I'm curious what the time is there. It felt like kind of exactly what I was thinking, where what we tested before, which is where the bosses take a little bit longer, but the mobbing's a little bit smoother. And we had 520 before, and that was 629. So that was over a minute longer. And, you know, I feel like I played that pretty well. We had to run and grab some health. But that's kind of the reason I'm not using Contagion for my 400% build. Once again, it is entirely up to you which one you use. And, you know, we could run this a bazillion times, but the thing that Freyna struggles with is the bosses at the end. I'm not using, like, not Contagion because or I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, she'll clear the mobbing areas quickly on both builds. Both builds are going to be dealing very good damage in an AoE. You might have to cast your abilities a little bit more on the non-Contagion build, but you're going to have a significantly easier time with not Contagion on the bosses because you're just going to be doubling your dot damage. And so if you want to kill the bosses with your abilities and have your abilities be a larger portion of your damage, it just is smoother on the bosses without Contagion. Now, regardless of if you're going to use Contagion or not Contagion, one thing that I do want to update is a mod. Now, I didn't figure this out before I posted the Freyna. I only figured it out once we were like min-maxing Bunny and our Glay and our Ajax. But one thing that's really important now that we have these new modules, which are Toxic Amplification and Tech Amplification, we're getting a lot of toxic skill power already. And any more toxic skill power that we add, which is a multiplier, anything that we add to this is additive with our multiplier. So if we go focus on Toxic and Toxic Amplification, these two mods, we're just going to do a quick test. I'm going to be using the Albion Cavalry mounting just because I don't want to use the Secret Garden mounting, because if the pest control buffs on some abilities and not on others, it might look inconsistent. So now we have no variability to our damage. But here, we're going to be proccing this enemy. And as you can see, we're going to wait for the thing to like go down, but we're going to do 70.9k damage. 70.9k damage. This gives us plus 77 toxic skill power. Now, let's try power increase, which is the mod that we are going to be using, or that we used on Bunny and Glay. And this is going to give us 65. So it's a smaller number, right? But the big thing you need to focus on is down here is now we have 65% toxic and 65% skill. We're adding the most amount of this new multiplier. People are asking me, why aren't I using like the Toxic Master, Tech Master, which we can test live. But this gives us the most of the new multiplier, which is what we care about. And so now let's click this button again. 70.9 is what we have to like compete with. Obviously, we do lose a little bit of cooldown, but as you can see, now we're dealing 82.6k damage. Even though it's like a smaller value, it's more damage. And just for the sake of testing, let's put on Toxic Master. So Toxic Master goes back into this R slot. Let's test that. 82.6 is what we're trying to beat. Let's wait for the 3 numbers to go away so we can see our dot. So that's 79. So it is better, but still not as good as power increase. And then let's test Tech Master, which is a triangle. So I'm going to have to take off my cooldown real quick. Otherwise, we won't be able to fit that. Obviously, cooldown should not affect our damage, but 82.6 is the number to beat. And this should get close, but not quite as good. Yeah, this gets us to 81,364. So this is getting us the closest because Tech Master is going to have Tech Skill Power and Tech Skill Modifier. Modifier is going to be more impactful when we have lower modifier values. So this will be like pretty good for our like 1, 2, and 3. Not quite as good as our 4th. But as you can see, it's still worse for the damage of our abilities. And that'll be even more apparent once we have like more value. So let's just do power increase. I'll show you an example real quick. So now let's do the 4. We're just going to shoot once. That dot is going to be, well, it should be about the same, actually. But technically, let's look at the skill damage. So 243 is what we're hitting for skill damage-wise with power increase. 243. Now let's take off power increase. And then let's use the Tech Master, which is what was getting us the closest to the amount of damage. Now this should be worse because now power is more impactful than modifier, because we are going to have a lot of damage, or a lot of like power already, or a lot of modifier already. So now let's just reset that. 243 is what we wanted to compete with. And now we're dealing 227. So 243 versus 227. So, you know, for the updated Freyna build guide, in this spot, the only thing that we're changing, the builds are going to stay the same across the board, but we're going to want to put power increase as our new mod. Obviously, we do lose a little bit of cooldown with that, but we're already got like 3 cooldown mods on, so it shouldn't be an issue. We're going to use MP conversion there, nimble there, and now for the giga bossing, this toxic specialist should change to power increase. Let's swap that. So this is what the giga bossing build should look like. And then we go to the normal mobbing. Normal mobbing, we're going to do the exact same thing. I just added 1 catalyst for the power increase there. And normal bossing, we will also be, I don't know what's going on here. I think I might have been messing around with it, but you get the point. We're just changing anywhere that you see focus on toxic to power increase for like 17% more damage, which is nothing to laugh about in terms of damage increases, especially when we're dealing so much damage so quickly. Guys, that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, you could say that maybe I didn't play as well when I was using Contagion, or I played better when I was using Venom Synthesis. Obviously, you know, at the end of the day, both are good options, but in my testing before I made the original build and retesting it based off of feedback, I still think that Venom Synthesis, for me personally, is the way to go, because it leads to faster clear times, and where Freyna can struggle more, it strengthens her weaknesses, which is single target. And yeah, guys, that is going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't hate me for this. just wanted to like back it up, because I've been getting a lot of feedback that's like, oh, he's wrong, he doesn't know how to play, or he tested it wrong. This is just kind of reaffirming the results that I've seen personally. But yeah, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Peace.